We have a flash flood warning right now for New York City. Take a look at this flooding. This is Moores Park in the Bronx just a short time ago. People wading through the water right there. Now the water is really high above the curb. You can see that bus there in the background as well, and cars trying to get through this intersection. And now to a similar scene in Washington Heights, the water just streaming down trees there, down the street as well. And when we see this level of rain coming down, the subways are of a big concern. The MTA giving us a look at some of the efforts to remove water from the system, not only on days that it rains, but also on a regular basis. Our Pix 11's Greg Mocker joining us now live in Long Island City with more on this part of the story.
Shirley, it was a real-life example of what I talked to the MTA and the Department of Environmental Protection about today. It's a lot of rain, and it comes down quickly. This is what you want to see. People moving about, cars are moving, vehicles going, drains did their thing, the trains are running. Here's a look at some of how, some ways the MTA fights the floods. This equipment moves water out of the way. When it's on the tracks, it can stop your commute. New York City Transit positions mobile pumps and trucks with equipment and personnel in areas that can flood and have flooded in past storms. But new floods pop up from clogged city drains or building in a neighborhood. MTA officials see the videos on social media.
Finding out what the real conditions of a location are, real conditions of a station, and then getting resources deployed there.
The subways move about 13 million gallons of water on a dry day when it's not raining. From this command center in Brooklyn, transit can monitor water levels in stations.
There is some water, but it's not at the level where it has to kick on.
A network of 286 pump rooms drain water from the transit system and tracks into the New York City sewer system. About 10% of the transit pump rooms have been modernized, with more new technology coming online. The MTA wants to keep as much water as possible out of the stations in the system. That involves working with the city to raise curbs and upgrade city sewers. The MTA chairman says more city and transit projects are being coordinated with the new administration.
This is a generational investment, but it needs to be made starting now, because climate change is here, it's real, torrential rainfall is not going away, and we have to make sure that we can handle more than 1.5 inches in an hour without shutting down our mass transit lifeline.
Notice the elevated subway stairs that keep out the water. About 100 entrances have been done so far. I ask if more were on the way.
If we add a couple extra inches with that extra step before we go down into the stairway, that does give us more time when there is a torrential rainfall, and it does give us more protection when there is a torrential rainfall. So we put that in at 100 entrances already, and we're going to do another 100 stations.
472 stations around the system. There's about $1 billion in the next capital plan for resiliency throughout the system, including along the railroads, which are also subject to the flooding, and status check on our train time and MTA apps, subway apps. Things are moving along. No delays reporting that are weather related. In Long Island City, live, Greg Mocker, Pix 11 News.
All right, good news from the MTA. Thank you, Greg, for that update.